Hi, everybody. Erica here from In the Company of Cards. Happy Friday. Um, this won't be long, but I did want to come on and look at a couple of issues um, before we head into the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, Violetta from Psychic Violetta will be my guest on Sunday, and that will be live. And so please feel free to bring your questions, and we will take turns answering them. That will be at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. And if you're somewhere else, you can do the math. But we'd love to have you join us. It's always a lot of fun. Some of you will say, oh, her accent makes it hard to understand her. Then this is a good opportunity um, to train your listening ears to hear better. Um, you know, uh, she's a font of wisdom, and I think if you've not seen her work, you should go check her out. Psychic Violetta is her channel, and we try to get together every month or so, either on my channel or her channel. And she reads in a really unique way, So we'll ask her a question, and she will get an image in her mind and that will answer the question. That the image is sort of like a metaphor. And then she'll pull cards after she tells us the metaphor, but the cards seem to just sort of corroborate what she's already told us from the image that she got in her mind. So it's very, very interesting. There's lots of ways of doing divination, and hers is just a really interesting way. Okay, so, a few questions. One, no order as usual. I wanted to look at Judge Kathleen Williams. She's the judge that the slush fund case was in front of. And if you recall, the felon took it off the table. Oh, no, no, never mind. We don't want to sue the IRS. Instead, we'll just give ourselves the 1776 billion and I'll distribute it amongst my supporters. And Judge Williams has said, excuse me, not so fast. And so on June 12th, which is coming up, she has asked the parties to come and explain to her how it is that this initial proposal to sue the IRS, which be the felon suing himself, basically, suing us, um, how that was not an attempt to defraud the government. So I would just like to know what her finding will be um, in this particular case. So I'm going to use the older woman card for her. That will just stand for Judge Kathleen Williams. If I seem like I'm moving around a lot, it's because I changed my seating. I used to have a desk chair like everybody else, but now I'm sitting on this balloon thing. It's a ballon. It's French. It's a big, huge balloon, and I feel I feel way looser when I stand up after a long day of work. I am not being sponsored to say that. I'm just saying that, when you get a certain age, anything that you can do ergonomically to make your life better, do it. And so for me, one of them is this new seating arrangement. I'm still getting used to it, but I think I like it. Okay, let's look for Judge Kathleen Williams, and will she be um, one of the heroes of this story? Will she decide that the felon tried to defraud the public in his bid to sue the IRS, which essentially is suing the taxpayer? He wanted to be the plaintiff and the defendant. So we're going to look for the older woman that will stand for her. Not that she's old, but. Okay, so this is Judge Kathleen Williams. Okay, so we have the key, the moon, Judge Williams. the tower, and then we have the mountain. And I may pull some cards on the mountain. Um, but here's what I think. Whenever you start the line with with the key, it tends to be a yes. So yes, you did try to defraud the court and the American people, not for nothing. Uh, the moon feels, this is the card for reputation. And I feel like this is her saying, you thought you pulled a fast one, but I see you. I know who you are. You're the fraudster in chief. And you tried to take it off the table real quick and do some fancy footwork and still get the money another way. So it's not like you had second thoughts and felt bad about what you did, Felon. You just thought, wait, she might be on to me. Let me try and do it another way. And I'm on to you. I think that's what she will decide. She's, of course, in the center. Now we have the tower and we have the mountain. Uh, the tower is the force of government, but it's more than that. It can be the force of the law. It can be jail. Not that the felon would go to jail, but the attorneys could be sanctioned in some way. The moon mirrors that. So I think there will be some sort of judicial um, rebuke, response, remedy to all of this. Now, we have the mountain at the end, and I want to just see what that's about. Because you know that the felon's stock in trade is delay, delay, delay. So even though she has asked the parties to come to court on the 12th of June, don't be surprised, which I think is Friday, maybe Thursday or Friday. Um, let's see, when is that? It's Friday, next Friday. Don't be surprised if, they ask for a continuance or something like that. But I'm going to pull some cards on that mountain to see what that's about. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is the felon's side saying, oh, we need more time. But again, it's for reasons that are no good. Again, trying to play fast and loose. And saying something like, we love the justice system. We love justice. And we believe that this was a right and proper approach to take. That's why we filed it. I mean, that's in the end what they're going to say. But I think she's going to say, buddy, I've got your number. So that's something to look forward to. I'm not going to be surprised again if they seek a continuance. She doesn't have to grant the continuance, uh, but I think they've met their match in her. Again, about this 700, whatever, 1776 billion, we are hearing all kinds of double speak about that. On the one hand, because that was going to be the remedy, right? In addition to taking that case off the docket, removing it from Judge Williams's having to deal with it, and she's saying, no, 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 bring it back. I want to see what that was all about. They had decided that they would take it off the felon's side. They would take it off, and they would instead um, settle. Now, how do you settle? How do you just settle what? There was no case. So what are you settling exactly? I think they got their S words confused. Instead of settle, it was steal. Steal 1776 billion, and he was going to give it to the January 6th people and all his cronies, etc. Um, and so we've heard a lot of double speak about this. So on the one hand, for example, we have Todd Blanche saying, well, yeah, no, that's off the table. But then saying, well, no, it's actually not off the table. Is it off the table, Todd, or is it not off the table? Which one is it? So they will try some sort of backdoor maneuver. It's always about greed and grift. Um, we'll have to wait and see. But in terms of this particular chapter, I think that Judge Williams will yoke them up. So that's good. Uh, Speaking of the felon, let's look for a minute at Ivanka and Jared's little project in Albania. Remember that they had seen some beautiful waterfront property in Albania that they decided they wanted to develop, and thousands and thousands of people, Albanians, came out to protest when they visited. You know, they always try to clean it up and make it look like it's way less evil of an endeavor than it really is, whatever they're planning. And I want to know whether they have, whether the rubber's met the road there and what will happen with this project. So I think let's use the garden for that property, and see whether they'll be able to develop it. They should not be able to. Apparently, Albania doesn't want that, but let's see how that will go. This is Jared and Ivanka's Albanian adventure. We're going to use the garden for that waterfront property. Okay, so this stands for that Albanian property that they want to develop. Okay, so we have the scales, we have crossroads, we have the garden, we have the whip, and we have the book. You know, sometimes when you ask a question of the cards will say things are still up in the air. You know, energy is mutable and things change. So they're having to do some serious cost benefit analysis. Are they going to put all of that money into that property, obviously with the intention of making a ton more than they put in, right? But meanwhile, the property is in a country that doesn't want you there. So how's that going to work out? I mean, are you going to do them like the Palestinians and just bulldoze them out, Jared? Um, they're having to reassess. They don't know what to do. I'll tell you what, I don't think that they expected the reception that they got from the Albanian people. I think it really shocked them. It took them by surprise. The book is about that, the things that we didn't expect, things that we didn't know. So they are having to, this is our second card, they're having to retool some kind of way. They're going to have to figure out what their plan B is. And I think there are lots of and lots of arguments, that's the whip, about what the plan B should be, whether there in fact can be a plan B, or whether they need to just take their little money back and go back to Florida. But this is a real mess. Um, they can try and strong arm the way, like I said, the way Israel's doing Palestine, with our help. But right now, the plans are all up in the air. Uh, they are not yet thinking that they're going to steamroll through, nor are they thinking they're going to pack their bags and leave. I think they are still in shock about how embarrassingly huge the opposition from the people of Albania was against this. So, you know what? Good for Albania. Okay. Couple of other things. I want to look at Graham Platner. Now, Graham Platner is the Democrat running to unseat Susan Collins, the senator from Maine, who has been a Trumper. But if you ask her, oh, she's a reluctant Trumper, but she's not that reluctant because she generally votes his way. Anyway, Platner is billed as a sort of a populist, progressive candidate, which in this climate can look really attractive to Democrats. Well, there's been he's well spoken, he's interesting, he's an oyster farmer, fisherman, I guess, because I mean there aren't oysters in the water, but anyway, he's called an oyster farmer, okay, in Maine. Um, but of course, there's always a scandal lurking around the corner, and there is a scandal about him. The scandal is twofold. One is that he has this tattoo, which he has since covered up with another tattoo, but it was very clearly NAZI tattoo. It wasn't the uh, swastika, but it was something that was easily identifiable as a NAZI symbol that he got in the military. He says that he didn't know that's what it meant. I mean, you're going to get like a permanent mark on your body. I have a tattoo. One day I'll tell you the story of it, but I know what it means and I know why it's there. So that's a little off-putting, a little curious that he says he didn't know that it was a Nazi symbol, but okay. Anyway, that's 50% of it. The other 50% of it is that there is an allegation against him for, we'll just say, um, um, improper behavior with women. We'll just call it like that for the sake of YouTube. Now, he is currently married. He, for like a couple of years, I think he got married in 23 or 24. So relatively a newlywed, but at any rate, so he was on the dating scene, obviously, before that. Um, may have been married before, I'm not sure. But at any rate, a lot of women have been asked about him. And the consensus is that he was a fun guy to go out with, um, that that he wasn't physically abusive or inappropriate. Um, that's the general consensus, pretty much. Um, maybe a little, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say that he was, that everybody said he was, the perfect gentleman who pulled out your seat and brought you a rose and opened your door. But he apparently he was a good time, a fun time was had by all, etc., except for this one person who dated him, um, maybe for a while, I think. But at any rate, come to find out, she works for the Heritage Foundation. Now, people can work wherever they want to work, but I will just say that the Heritage Foundation is the funder of of Project 2025. They are the think tank organization, we'll call it, behind Project 2025. So, how do we know that she is not planting information about Graham Platner? We don't know that. Um, so I guess what I want to do is I want to see um, I want to see what kind of guy he is. Now, he's not old. He's not young, but he's not old. I'm going to use the young guy. He's an oyster fisherman. I think that's a little cool. I'm going to use the young man card for Graham Platner, and I just want to see, um, is he a good guy or a bad guy? Just a general overview. Now, nobody, that's the thing. Nobody is all good or all bad. Well, the felon's all bad, but you know what I mean. Generally speaking, we are an amalgam of a lot of things, right? We've all, you know, nobody's perfect, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I'm not asking, is he perfect? I just want to know what is he telling the truth? Has he been inappropriate with women? And isn't it interesting that the Republicans are being the champion of women with whom he's been appropriate, if that is the case? But meanwhile, the felon in chief and the e-files, nothing, crickets, right? All right, so let's look. So we're going to use the young man for Graham Platner. We just want to see what kind of guy he is. Okay. All right. Listen, you all, I'm going to be hitting a huge age on July 29th, and I would love to get to 40,000 subscribers by the beginning of August, which would be the 2-year anniversary of this channel. So if you could spread the word, if you like what I do, please spread the word and see if we can get to 40,000 by um, by August 1st. My birthday's the 29th of July, but August 1st would be the beginning of the channel. All right, so this is going to be Graham Platner, and I'm pulling the two cards before him and the two cards after him. Interesting cards, and I think I'm probably going to have to pull some clarifiers to, especially for this one card. But anyway, we have the anchor, we have the snake. Don't love that. We have Platner, the garden, and the ring. I'm going to say that it is possible for people to be more than one thing at once, right? So my earrings are just doing this weird thing of flipping around. Okay. So in this case, he is mired down by this problem, in the wrong kind of um, PR about his relationship with women. That's problematic, especially in these days. But again, could it be that this young woman, or I don't know, she might not be young, this woman is coming from the Heritage Foundation as she is? Is she, saying that just to bring him down? I mean, the thing is, if you're not doing any dirt, then you don't have anything to worry about. But if you are a little shady, well, chickens come home to roost, do they not? So I think there he may not be what you and I would consider for our daughters good boyfriend material. But he's in the center. But he is, I will, again, we can be two things at once, I guess. He is committed to public service. This is the public, this is the card for being committed. He is committed to public service. That's why you got to keep your side of the street clean then, because people will come for you. So let's pull some clarifiers. I'm going to pull a clarifier on the snake and on him and on the garden and on the ring. Okay, so the snake is this sort of this monkey wrench that's been thrown at him. Uh, and the clarifiers are the house, clover, and the mice. I mean, again, he is a Democratic contender. We would like to win the Senate. Of course, the White House would just as soon we not win the Senate. So this came out of the blue, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Oh, it feels kind of, I don't know, coincidental, serendipitous, a little bit of luck, a little bit of, poof, here she is. in order to cast doubt on him, make people worried and anxious about him. So, I mean, this news has definitely been planted to hurt him. There's no question about that. Now, I pulled cards under him, clarifiers for him. We have the bouquet, we have the fish, and we have the key. I really like these cards for him. Um, he is gifted as a politician, with a progressive platform, which is good. Uh, he really, I think, wants to do good things for people. Again, it feels like I'm talking about apples and not even oranges, apples and TV sets. Like the two things have nothing to do with each other, but in this climate, they get conflated. You could argue that Swalwell wanted good things for his constituency, here in California, and yet, mm, look at what chickens came home to roost in that situation. So, uh, Garden is our fourth card. This is, the people, his constituents in Maine. He does want things to be better for them. He knows that Mainers are suffering, and he would like to end that suffering. So I think his heart is in the right place. I'm not being naive. I'm just showing you what the cards say. Um, the fifth card was the ring. And remember, I said that's his commitment to public service. And we have the clarifiers of the tree, the letter, and the star. I think that this little situation, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't think it'll grow. I think it will fade away. Uh, I like the tree. The tree is the card for health. Um, and I think over time this will fade, that people will really like him and like his platform. He's gotten a lot of good press to date. This is the card for votes. Here we have the future. And here, now that I'm looking at the anchor together with the star, I feel like he's solid. He'll be okay. Um, I don't think he's another Fetterman who will get in there and turn out to be completely different than the way that he purported to be. I don't think that. I do think that, the Republicans will try to do anything to keep that seat. But I also think that candidates need to be aware of that and make sure that that their side of the street is clean. So I think he will weather this storm. I do. Um, I think his heart, at least in regard to the public, is in the right place. Um, Again, a lot of women have come out and said, "Oh, we had a good time. A good time was had by all. He's, a bon vivant kind of guy. It was a fun, whatever." It's just that one that had the issue. And again, as soon as I hear Heritage Foundation, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Uh, I wanted to look at places like Delaney Hall and Alcatraz. The latest on this Alcatraz prison, eh, or detention center, it was supposed to have been closed, if you recall. Not only is it not closed, um, word is getting out that prisoners are being denied food and water, um, unless they sign legal documents, which of course incriminate them in their cases. and they're in English. They don't, and English is not a language that they are fluent in, so they can't, plus it's legalese, without access to lawyers or translators or anything like that. But apparently they're being denied food and water, and the water that they're given has larvae in it, which is disgusting. Um, I just think that this detention center thing feels more and more concentration camp like. And no matter what we call them, people are being warehoused against their will and mistreated, men, women, and children. But I feel like that may be something I will do a deeper dive in. Maybe Lena and I will do it next week. Um, I just, there needs to be more of an uproar about these places because this is happening in plain sight. While you and I are living our little lives, people are suffering, and I think that we need to get to the bottom of that. Speaking of suffering, let's just take a quick look, shall we, at how the felon's weekend will go. So I'm going to use the older man for him. Other people besides myself hate that I have to use him. There he is on my wall there, um, to represent the felon. And I look forward to the day when he will no longer do that. But he has broad shoulders. He can take it. The card is a card and it's an energy and it's okay with how we're using it. But I look forward to the day when I don't have to read on him anymore. We know he is falling asleep in meetings, looks terrible, has a lot of swelling over his right eye, um, was missing in action for a few days after his uh, visit to Walter Reed, has gotten a lot of bad news in the past week. So I just want to see how his health will do this weekend. People have speculated about kidney issues. We know he's got heart issues. Um, he's supposed to, I think I mentioned this, he's supposed to go to France the day after his birthday. And I'll tell you what, the 14th promises to be interesting. Uh, and I'll probably look at the 14th during the week. What am I looking for? Oh, him. Sorry. Forgot what card I was looking for. I saw that box and I thought, oh, that's him, all right. I don't know if I passed him. No, here we go. Okay, so this is the felon. Hmm, interesting. Because some of these are the same cards that I pulled in the last spread, um, but they weren't bunched together. I mean, I shuffled them. And obviously, it's a different question, so they mean something different. Okay, we have the coffin, the snake, the felon, the ring, and the star. I just think that he's really, really sick. This is the card for illness. Is he sick unto death? Yes, eventually. I think that the ailments that he has are compounding and getting worse and harder to hide, harder to manage, harder for him to endure, which makes him irascible. Um, but yeah, he will not feel well this weekend. He's in the center. The ring this time is for the unpleasantness that he experiences from all of his ailments. It's chronic. It's not acute. Chronic meaning they're not going anywhere. He will not be cured from what ails him. It's chronic and getting worse. And then I can take the coffin and mirror it with the star. You know, how long? Not long. That's all I can say. I don't know when, how long, not long. I mean, none of us have long, right? If we live 1,000 years, it would still feel too short. But for him, how long, not long. Um, I'm gonna pull a couple of clarifiers. So on the coffin, clarifiers are the bouquet, the garden, and the child. This is pretty bad. It's to say when he goes, many of us will consider it a gift. Many of us will consider it a gift because, we can turn that page and start something new. The snake is just the difficulty of, again, managing his illnesses, the difficulty that he has in enduring them, the difficulty that it creates for all of us, when he is definitely not all there and he falls asleep in meetings and he makes crazy pronouncements, you know. So we have the young woman, the moon, and Clover. I think there is more Epstein stuff coming for him, hard and fast. That's what I think this is about. That something will come out that will reputationally ruin him. It's shocking to think that he's not already reputationally ruined in the eyes of his sycophants, but and here's him, here's Melania. They are fighting bad, big arguments. And you know what? He's not winning. This is the card for an older man who's acting like he's acting, who just can't keep it all together. So she's running rings around him and will win every argument, and he just doesn't know what to do. So I think they will be in some communication, probably about the Zampoli Amanda Ungaro situation, because that's going to heat up as well. Who introduced the two of them, Melania and the felon? Um, that's not going away any time soon. And stress obviously can add to ill health. So here we have the ring as our fourth card. The clarifiers are the book, the mice, and the cross. Here's the thing. What he's got is chronic, will kill him in the end, but he doesn't know that. Like, I don't think that the medical professionals have been 100% transparent with him about how dire his situation is. I just think that every day it gets worse and worse and worse, and he suffers more and more and more. Here we have the stars, our fifth original card. Clarifiers are the anchor, the key, and the dog. Uh, there are people who are thinking about the future as he is. There are people who are sticking with him out of loyalty because they think that they'll get something out of it once he's gone. I can mirror these two together. So, maybe he leaves them money, maybe I don't know, whatever they think they're going to get out of it. He will still have people loyal to him, but they're loyal in a very specific way. It's not out of love for the old man. It's because they think they can get something out of it in the end from the estate or whatever. So I think his weekend will be another unpleasant one. The birthday situation looks bleak. So it's not like my birthday in July where I'm looking forward to it and gearing up for it, hoping that you all will boost me to 40,000 subscribers for it. He can't really look forward to his birthday because the plans are falling through at an alarming rate. So he will not have a good weekend. If that's any consolation to you, it is to me. And but I hope that you all have a good weekend, and I hope that you'll decide to spend some of it with Violetta and me on Sunday at 11 Pacific, 2 Eastern, where we will spend an hour live answering your questions. Okay, everybody, have a great Friday night, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.